The following is a sponsored program paid for by First Alliance Credit Union. Welcome to Good Money Moves, featuring Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome to Good Money Moves. I'm Andy Brownell, along with Jenna Taubel, Director of Brand and Digital Member Experience with First Alliance Credit Union. Hi, Jenna.
Hello.
So last week, we talked about managing money as a couple. What is our Good Money Moves topic for this week?
So this week, we're going to be talking about kind of a deeper topic, if you will. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but it's not necessarily financial literacy. We're going to talk about the connection between your financial status and how you view yourself, how your financial status impacts your identity. So we'll call this your financial identity.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So let's dig into that just a little bit before we go too far into it. So your financial identity really, and I think this, as I talk through this, people are going to be like, yeah, that's really true. I've never thought about it that way. But so it's kind of like, yes, everybody may understand this, but I think it'll be interesting to really start to draw those parallels. And I think once you understand this about yourself, it's really going to help you start to maybe make some more positive changes around how you view money overall in your life. So
okay.
Your financial identity really plays a significant role in shaping your overall well-being and your self-perception, right? It's essentially how you view yourself in relation to your financial status. So think like your income levels or even who you associate with, right? It also is related to your financial achievements. So have you achieved common milestones like homeownership or graduated college? Those impact your self-identity. Even the challenges that you have related to your finances. Do you struggle with high levels of debt or even low income, right? Those challenges also lead to how you view yourself.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So really the importance of digging into this topic, like I kind of mentioned earlier, is that once you really understand that your value as a person extends beyond monetary aspects in your life, you can start to kind of prevent the negative impacts of tying your self-worth solely to your financial success. So, and this is true regardless of your income level, right? Whether you make $1 million or $100, right? You tie your self-worth to your financial success in so many ways. So hopefully, as you listen today, you're going to gain some insights into really building a healthier relationship with money that will foster financial resilience and ultimately really help you achieve a more balanced and positive sense of not only your money, but your overall self, your identity, your financial identity.
So then we're looking. I'm cracking a joke, but everything you say makes sense because I've witnessed it firsthand with folks who have both directions. Those who lacked financial status and those who have had a great deal of financial status and were fairly self-destructive.
Yeah.
So in our society, obviously, having more money is very synonymous with higher status. But from what you've already said, if I'm hearing you correctly, that's really not the healthy way to view yourself.
No, not at all.
So maybe can you flesh this out, this concept of financial identity?
Yeah, absolutely. So financial identity refers to the perception people have of themselves in relation to their financial situation, achievements, and challenges. It encompasses the beliefs and attitudes and emotions that people associate with their financial status, which then impacts your overall self-worth and identity. So knowing your financial identity matters because it really plays a crucial role in shaping your decisions, your behaviors around money, which then do ultimately influence your overall life satisfaction. So how people view their financial standing directly can affect your mental health, your relationships, and again, just your overall quality of life. So I've got a couple of examples to help kind of flesh this idea out a little more. So for example, let's look at your self-worth and self-esteem. If someone experiences financial success, they may perceive themselves as successful, capable, and worthy of things, right? On the contrary, if you are constantly having financial struggles and setbacks, whether it's because of your income or just things that life is throwing at you, or maybe you just don't have the financial literacy skills to make good decisions, you're going to start to feel more feelings that are negative, feelings of inadequacy or low self-esteem as time goes on. So that's one example. So another example of how this works is your social identity. So people often associate certain social status with financial success, right? Those with high incomes may feel a sense of belonging, whether that's to the affluent community specifically or the more broader community as a whole, while those who typically face financial challenges tend to have a more excluded or stigmatized existence in a community. So you just think about all of the negative ideas you think of when you find out somebody's on food stamps. That is what I'm talking about here. Or if you see or somebody, they have a lot of money, are you automatically going to give them more respect? Those are the types of things I'm talking about, whether it's not necessarily a cognizant thing that we do, but it does happen. So another example, right? Life choices and opportunities. So financial constraints can really limit your educational career opportunities. Someone from a low-income background is going to face more obstacles in pursuing higher education and certain career paths, which then overall is going to impact their sense of achievement and fulfillment in life. You just think about the number of careers where you have to go through an unpaid internship to be able to enter a career field. Someone who does not have family that can support them through that,
right,
you can't pursue that career path without a lot of struggle. So those are the types of things that you can start to think about there. And then we talk about relationships and family dynamics, right? We kind of talked on that in last week's episode when we were talking about how to manage money as a couple, right? Financial stress strains relationships and ultimately hurts family dynamics. So if you are struggling financially and you're having financial stress that's straining your relationships, right, that's going to impact your overall mental health and your sense of happiness within your family, right? And this can stem from things like differences in financial priorities or disparities in income between partners. These things lead to conflict, which then, again, overall just creates that sense of lack of stability and stress in the family. So if you have a better sense of your financial identity and how to work through those things, like we were talking about last week, that's going to improve your sense of self-worth, right? So, and this, talking about stress, well, let's talk about health and overall well-being. Those financial struggles contribute extremely to stress and anxiety, which then can lead to physical health issues. We've talked about that before on the show as well. If you have this constant worry about making ends meet, that is going to impact your mental health, and it's going to start to lead to really negative self-perceptions and your overall health and well-being in the long run.
It's going to affect your physical health too.
Exactly. Yeah. You think stress that's what leads to heart attacks, right?
Well, it takes time, but
happens.
It does contribute. Yeah.
So those are all things that you to be thinking about. And then kind of to sum this all up, those personal goals and aspirations that you have, your financial status is going to influence the pursuit of personal goals overall, right? Individuals with a stable financial foundation, they're going to feel already more empowered to chase their dreams, while people who are coming from a financially insecure place you're going to feel a little bit more hindered in your pursuit of those passions and aspirations, because if you're constantly trying to make ends meet every month, the last thing you're thinking about is, those bigger aspirations. You're just trying to get through the day, versus someone they've got the house, they've got the retirement fund. Now you can start thinking about, well, what is it that I really want to do in life, right? So that is how your financial status is going to start to impact your perceptions of yourself and what you can and can't achieve in life. And so, I talk through these examples at a really, really high level. I feel like we could probably do entire episodes on each of these. But these examples really highlight the deep connection between your financial standing and status and your overall identity and how you perceive yourself. So again, by being able to really start to recognize and address some of these influences within your own life, hopefully you can use this information to help you, work towards developing a more resilient and balanced sense of self that starts to extend beyond money.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot to chew on.
I said we're going a little deeper today.
So we will take a break right now, and we'll be back with more of Good Money Moves with Jenna Taubel with First Alliance Credit Union on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good Money Moves continues in moments with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. We're talking Good Money Moves with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back to Good Money Moves. The topic this week is your financial identity. Wow. Okay, Jenna Taubel with First Alliance Credit Union. You went through and identified a bunch of examples of how this can come into play, more or less. So what you're getting at is there's a psychological connection between my money and how I feel about myself.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you to explain a little bit more. Any more, more examples?
Yes. Yeah. So you're very correct. There is definitely that psychological connection, which is kind of the gist of your financial identity. So essentially kind of the psychological aspects of your financial identity have to do with really that complex interplay between your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors in regard to your financial status. So there are a few kind of key examples, really psychological dimensions, I guess, for lack of a better word, to financial identity that are really important to grasp in order to really recognize this happening in yourself. And some of this may seem a little bit redundant to what we talked about earlier, but it is slightly different. So again, talking about kind of that self-perception and self-worth. So this is the idea that we often internalize our financial situation as us having failed or succeeded in life, whether that's warranted or not, right? Financial situations can come from life happening unexpectedly, or maybe you really did make some really bad choices that are now leading to your failure, or you made really good choices now leading to your success, right? So those, again, warranted or not, which those internalized thoughts and feelings about that situation then inform how you perceive yourself going forward, right? Failure, you're going to start to feel probably more negative about yourself. Success, you're going to start to feel a little bit more confident. So then we talk about that emotional level of, right, emotional well-being. So financial stressors can lead to a range of emotions, typically like fear, anxiety, and over time can actually lead to depression if it's a very long time, ongoing situation. So those then shape your emotional response to a variety of life situations, right? Financial or not. So if you are constantly feeling stressed about paying bills or about being able to afford things, right? You're going to start acting out on that stress in different ways, right? You might start getting angry with your family members, which then again leads back to that topic of how financial stress impacts your family dynamics, right? And it can lead to problems at work, right? If you are feeling really financially stressed, maybe you start to think about stealing from your work, or you start to think about finding a different job, or you start to think about, these are all things that start to kind of roll up as stress happens.
Or you're just simply distracted.
Oh, very distracted,
not
right?
productive. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, all of these things. So again, financial stressors start to inform how you make decisions in life, and those decisions will then impact, again, how those situations play out is going to impact how you feel about yourself at the end of the day. Did you feel good about the decisions you made? And if not, you're going to start to dislike yourself further. If you did make good decisions, right? If we're on the positive side of things, you'll start to feel better about yourself. But another component of your financial identity has to do with cognitive biases. So this is things like confirmation bias, which means, in simple form, you believe things that align with what you already believe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or the endowment effect, which, again, this is a very simplified example of this, but you essentially place more value on objects that you own versus objects that you don't. Right. And so these types of biases are going to then influence how you interpret and respond to financial information that you're given, and thus impact decision making and really your risk perception around money. So if you think about if you already believe that let's say cryptocurrency is the new way to invest, any information given to you that says otherwise you're less likely to take that information into consideration when you're making decisions.
And on the flip side, if you're like me, who's very skeptical of the whole thing, I look at it the exact opposite direction.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, right or wrong, you're using that information about that and the beliefs you already have around that topic to influence your financial decision making going forward.
Sure.
The endowment effect, right? You placing more value on objects you already own. Your house that you own is more valuable to you than someone who doesn't own it, right? That's kind of in a nutshell. So these types of biases really influence how you interpret and respond to new financial information or decisions that you have to make. And if you can't disassociate your self-worth that you've maybe tied up into things like the home that you own, you're going to make very different decisions around that. So that, again, that one we could go really, really deep on, but I'm not going to go any further into that one. So the other kind of dimension to talk about here is that social comparison, right? It's the keeping up with the Joneses mentality. We've talked about that before on the show. So we frequently engage in social comparison, especially around financial status, right? You're always measuring yourself against other people when it comes to money and status, right? Do I have a better car than them? Did they have a better house than me? Did they have a bigger boat? Did they have a nicer camper? Did they get to go on more vacations? Those are all things like you're constantly comparing yourself to the people around you. And the problem with this is that it can lead to feelings of inadequacy or, on the other side, superiority, neither of which are good, right? All tied back into your financial status. And at the end of the day, this really starts to affect your self-esteem. And it really shapes your perceptions of success or failure for yourself, right? If you are always viewing yourself as superior to everyone around you because of your financial status, and then something happens and you don't have that financial status anymore, maybe you lose your job, whether it was warranted or not, the impact that that's going to have to your self-esteem is going to be significantly more than if you did not hold yourself in a superior status based on your financial situation. When that happens, it's still going to sting to lose your job, but the level of sting is going to be a little bit different. And your ability then, right, going back to those cognitive biases, your ability to make decisions around that is going to change based on how tied to your financial status you are. So the last piece of the puzzle to talk about when it comes to kind of those psychological dimensions around financial identity is financial anxiety and really that fear of scarcity. So if you have a fear that you are never going to have enough money, right? Financial scarcity, that is going to impact your decision making big time, right? And it causes a lot of people to be, one, either overly conservative in their financial behaviors. They don't ever want to spend money, even if it would be a really good investment or advantageous for them to spend that money. It would improve their life. Or the fear of never having enough causes them to go in the opposite extreme. And anytime they have money, they spend it because they're afraid they won't have it opportunity again.
Mm-hmm.
So again, neither one of those at the end of the day is a healthy end of the spectrum. You want to have a nice like middle ground, but that fear of scarcity, again, influencing your decisions is based on a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, which you start to internalize those things and it doesn't help you at the end of the day. So ultimately, what I'm getting at here is your financial experiences in life contribute to the formation of your personal identity, your financial identity. So any successes or any setbacks that you have in managing your money, good or bad, are going to directly shape the narrative about who you believe yourself to be and what you believe that you can achieve in your lifetime.
That was a lot. Okay. We need to take another break. We'll continue with this discussion of financial identity on Good Money Moves in just a moment at News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good Money Moves continues in moments with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. We're talking Good Money Moves with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We're back with Good Money Moves. Jenna Taubel with First Alliance Credit Union talking about financial identity. And you mentioned earlier in the show that knowing this about yourself and recognizing these things in yourself can help. So I guess how do you start moving past associating self-worth to your financial situation? Because that seems to be the whole key of everything you've been talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're correct. So being able to understand and start to recognize these situations in your own life is really a great first step. And the next step beyond that is to begin to do the work to separate your self-worth from that financial status, regardless of what that status is. So you can look at this in a few ways to start to try to unravel some of these connections that you've made in life and that society has helped you make in life, right? It doesn't something that you just came up with on your own. So it's important here to really do some self-reflection and ask yourself some questions and then answer them very honestly. So questions like, do I measure my success solely based on my income? Or are there other factors that contribute to my sense of accomplishment? Am I prone to impulsive spending, or do I consistently practice responsible financial habits that align with my long-term goals? Do I approach money with the mindset of scarcity, always fearing financial shortages, or do I embrace an abundance mindset, focusing on opportunities for growth and financial security? Do I feel anxious or stressed when discussing money, and what specific situations trigger those emotions for me? Were certain money-related values instilled in me during childhood, and are they influencing my financial decisions today? So if you kind of go through that and answer those really, really honestly, I think you're going to start to really understand yourself a lot better and understand why you're making certain decisions and why you feel the way you do about money and about how it's affecting you. So once you've gone through that, a couple other things that you can do is start to define your values beyond money. So identify personal values and qualities that contribute to a sense of self-worth that goes beyond, those financial metrics, your income, your debt, your savings, all of those things. Think about characteristics like kindness, resiliency, integrity, all of those types of things. And then also cultivate like a list of non-financial achievements that you've had in life, right? Really celebrate and recognize achievements that do not have anything to do with money. So think about things like experiences where you've learned something, contributed back to the community, or improved relationships in your life. Those things are non-money related. Those are really good measures of success that have nothing to do with money.
In a lot of ways, they're probably the most important measures of success.
Exactly.
Okay. Obviously, this has been a fascinating topic. So we always discuss financial literacy in this program.
Yeah.
So can I take the things I learned about financial literacy and use them to improve my financial identity?
Yes, absolutely. So much of your financial identity tends to stem from insecurities around money, right? Fear, anxiety about what people are going to think of you about your money and about what you think about yourself when it comes to your money. So improving your understanding and knowledge of money management is going to be very helpful. And so one of the best ways to actually get started with this is to start setting some financial goals. And this act alone can help lead you toward a positive financial identity because it's going to provide you a sense of purpose, direction, and accomplishment. Whether it's saving for a home, education, retirement, right? You're going to have these really defined objectives that's going to provide you some motivation and focus in life around your finances. So accomplishing financial goals also builds confidence, which is so important because you're going to be less fearful and less stressed about money when you feel confident about how you're managing it. So, and then each milestone that you reach is going to contribute to a more positive self-perception, and it's going to really reinforce the belief that financial success is attainable for you. It's not something that other people do. So setting and achieving these financial goals, it just empowers you to take control of your financial destiny, really. And this just fosters a positive financial identity all around. Really by emphasizing personal action and responsibility, right? No longer is your financial life outside of your own control. You are now taking action and taking responsibility and ownership over those choices and decisions as best as you can. So again, working towards specific financial goals also helps you really proactively address any financial challenges and stressors that you're having, which again is if you bury your head in the sand when it comes to your money, you're always going to feel stressed and anxious about it versus if you kind of look it square in the face and say, okay, let's deal with this. It's going to help you reduce that stress and anxiety that is associated with all those uncertainties you feel around money, which then again contributes to your overall well-being. So, and setting financial goals, I would say also encourages that really long-term vision and planning, which can again contributes to that positive financial identity by really emphasizing the importance of being able to sustain financial well-being over time instead of just constant little wins here and there. It's very long-term oriented, and I have a plan. It might not be perfect and life happens, but I know where I'm going and where I want to be. So really, as you work towards reaching financial goals, you're going to really develop this adaptability and resilience by overcoming obstacles that get thrown in your way and being able to adjust those strategies for meeting those goals as needed, which is, unfortunately, the bad things in life tend to build personality, right? So there you go. If you want to improve your financial identity, setting financial goals, building up that financial literacy absolutely is going to help you feel more positive in life.
Well, take your hardships and turn them into tools for achieving some of those successes. That'll definitely bolster your financial identity. Okay. So where do I go? Especially if I want to find out more about the financial literacy aspect of this and how it can help me with my financial identity. I imagine, Jenna, you have some places we could look.
Absolutely. As always, I encourage our listeners to visit our website, firstalliancecu.com. You can subscribe to our blog. We release new financial tips and advice out there every week. You can listen to past episodes of this show at firstalliancecu.com/podcast or on krocnews.com. You can also subscribe to Good Money Moves on Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts. And if you love our show, please leave us a review on your favorite platform. And if you have a financial topic that you would like us to cover or questions you would like answered on Good Money Moves, please send me an email at marketing@firstalliancecu.com. And of course, I strongly encourage you to reach out to our team at First Alliance Credit Union. They are here to help you start making good money moves today.
That's First Alliance Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA and an equal housing lender. And this has been Good Money Moves. Thank you, Jenna. We'll talk again next week.
Absolutely.
Right here at News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.